we're going to take you a little bit behind the scenes and get to know a lot of the staff that's helped brought in this new Husker class. We have Mike Wallace there on the end, Adam DiMichele, right? I said it right? Because on Twitter,
Correct.
it's wrong. When people said it wrong, you're alike, right?
Yeah, everyone says DiMichele, but DiMichele, and a little Italian to it, so we'll get it right, I think.
All right, and the king of Twitter, Omar Hales. All right, well, let's start with just your guys' backgrounds with Coach Rhule and why you wanted to come be a part of his staff here at Nebraska. Mike, we'll start with you.
So for me, it was kind of simple. Like, I trust him. Like, I knew him for a long time. I actually met Coach Rhule when I was coaching high school in Philly. He was the offensive coordinator at Temple. He was coaching Adam, a bunch of them guys. And I think at the time, like when I met him, he was so unique as a person. There weren't really too many guys. Like my high school, we had a lot of coaches come through I got to meet, and he was one of the more unique people. I think over time our relationship grew, and I was like, hey, this is somebody that I can like kind of be around. And he hired me once he got to Temple. He actually brought me back to finish my degree and some other things. So he was a big part of my life, like kind of making the transition from high school coach to the collegiate era. He's the only person I came back to college football for, so here I am.
Yeah, like Mike mentioned, as you guys know and have talked about previously, a lot of guys on staff have obviously played for him. Omar, Coach Coop, T-Night, Coach Pop Roast, however you want to call him, and that was important to me as well. I remember one time we were sitting in the office and we used to bump heads a little bit. I was a quarterback, he was the offensive coordinator, so and I was a little crazy with the ball and stuff like that sometimes. But he told me one day you're going to coach for me, and I sat there and I was like, there's no chance, no shot I'll ever coach for you, no way. And then he ended up getting the job at Temple, brought me and Coach Coop in for as GAs, and since then, we've been at Temple for a long time together, and I got to be on the field with him and do some player development stuff and personnel stuff with him, which was pretty cool. Just kind of see his journey and how he got to where he's been. And then he went to Baylor, I stayed at Temple, but we've always kept in touch and always just kept our stories aligned. And then when he got the job here, it was just a no-brainer for me to come to a place like this and work with him and the staff we have here again.
Yeah, so Coach Rhule recruited me out of junior college. And
were you immediately sold when he recruited you?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. He had a good energy about him. He was a little quirky then. He was cool, but he had a little quirkiness to him. Still the same guy he is today. Good person though, but how did I get here in Nebraska? I got a phone call. Didn't know what my role was gonna be, and kind of just talked to my wife about it and took a leap of faith. And I really didn't know what my title was gonna be and what I was gonna be doing. I never questioned it because I knew what type of person Coach Rhule was. And so it allowed me to just, I just came and just went to work. And I never questioned Coach Rhule or what my role was or how much money I was making. I just came.
Why do people buy in to what he preaches, what he sells everywhere he goes, at every stop along the way, over so many different years?
Yeah, it's about the people. It's about and people win games and people lose games. But I would say that Matt Rhule is just a great person. He's a family man. He's helped me develop to be even a better father and a better husband. And so I think Coach Rhule is just his personality, who he is, his values, and just the type of person. I think just the type of person he is. It makes it very, very, very easy to believe in him. And that's kind of, if you see what's happening in our recruiting right now, it's kind of going to take off, and I only see it getting better from here on out.
Yeah, Adam, those types of relationships you're talking about that he built with you back when you were a player, how much does that pay into, and is that behind the recruiting that you guys do now?
No, I think it's right at the forefront of everything that we do. Is we had obviously 2 weekends of official visits. Trying to build a class in under 3 weeks is pretty hard. How are kids and their families going to trust us after 3 weeks? And I think it starts and ends with Coach Rhule and his vision for the program. Our first junior day, essentially, we brought all the kids from nearby Nebraska into this indoor, and when he spoke, you could just tell that kids and their families were listening. They kind of just felt the vibe and the aura, and it just was different. So I think at the end of the day, with us and the staff we have here, it starts and ends with the relationships and how we're gonna trust one another. And like he mentions all the time, when their kids come, they're gonna leave here a better man than when they started here, and that's kind of a big thing for us.
Mike, what has it been like working with the staff? It seems like it's like a well-oiled machine. A lot of times it'd be probably pretty chaotic, but they seem to just have hit the ground running and recruiting and all of that.
Yeah, so it's really not as chaotic as it seems, I think.
because we've all been around each other, like there's a comfort level, like we kind of know the expectations and the standards. So we pretty much get right to it. Like, no exaggeration, I hit a plane, everybody else got on the road, and we were coordinating, just trying to get it all figured out and get this thing on the road. And I think when the recruiting class is like finalized and everybody see the final product, they'll see that it wasn't as chaotic. Like, I think for us, we're not really selling anything. I think we are who we are, and it's different than a lot of places. And we're okay with that, and we want people that want to be a part of that. And as long as you want to do that, you're a fit.
Yeah, I was saying it's not chaotic. Other places it could be, but it seemed like this staff, you could tell you guys have worked together before. There's that chemistry that familiarity with working together.
If they were upstairs, you would see exactly what you're talking about. If you spend a little bit of time in our meeting rooms, you would see how it's not like you would think at an institution like this, you know what I mean? Everybody trusts one another, everybody can joke with one another, but when it's time to work and it's time to evaluate and it's time to meet with kids, and that's whenever we kind of lock in and get down to business.
Over a lot of times with a lot of the defensive coaches, they're talking about a mindset, a mentality, and wanting to play hard and be gritty. How do you know that a kid has that when they're in high school?
Yeah, it's all about the tape. You got to turn the tape on, and a lot of people just like to watch highlight tapes. For me, myself, I'm always the type of person who's going to dig in deep. I like to look at games where teams are when that team is losing. And see how that kid responds. See how he's playing when they're down, 28-0. Right? Because they say the truest measure of a man is not where he stands during comfort and convenience, but where he stands during challenges and controversy. And so that for me is very important to see where they are when things aren't going well, right? And so when you look at a lot of the guys, you're going to see a lot of fast guys. You're going to see a lot of guys with length. You're going to see a lot of guys that are strikers, and so that's hopefully that's the product that you see in Memorial Stadium this coming fall.
I think it'd be interesting if you guys all talk about this too, because obviously at Temple, a good chunk of the guys from that roster were from that area, right? From New Jersey and Pennsylvania. When we went to Baylor's, like over 80% of the roster was from Texas, and then now you're seeing them really hone in on Nebraska, but yet still going to Texas, still going over there to the East Coast. Just that philosophy, and why is that important? And can we expect to see more of that, just kind of reaching out to those areas where there are those relationships already built?
Yeah, I think that's part of our blueprint, right? You want to start within where we are, and you want to build out. And we've touched almost, I would say, every high school in the state of Nebraska. We want to make this state a priority. This is home for us. This is where we'll be, and we plan on being here for a long time. And so we have to take care of those relationships and make sure that everyone knows who we are. We know who everyone else is.
And I agree. Like, we want to protect home base. Like, we want to recruit Nebraska. We don't want to let anybody leave the state of Nebraska. If they're a good player that's here, we want them to come here and be a Cornhusker. We want to continue on the legacy that was here, the national championships. Like Coach Rhule keeps saying, we're not building a program. We just trying to get them back to where they're supposed to be. Like, they won national championships. Like, the proof is in the pudding. And I think what we can do here is bring local guys in who want to be a part of this. They know the tradition. They know what it takes. Their families, they've seen it their whole lives. We want to bring those guys in, and then we want to go in and touch a little bit of Philly and Florida and across the country and go accent with the best players that Nebraska expects to have. Like, we want to bring in guys who will come in and be great students, great people in the community and at the university, and move on and be great NFL players. Like, take care of their families, and we want to look up and we want to recreate that legacy. Like, everybody who went to the NFL and their kids come here in the future and they want to come here because of their parents, we want to continue that. We want to bring that back.
Well, you got a few of those in this class that are coming in. Sam Sledge, one of them, with his dad Bob, was all Big 8 Athlete of the Year, All-American, and then Noonan, Danny Noonan, and then we have a track star too, and Jalen Lloyd and his mom Dahlia. So can you guys speak to that and those guys and how important that is?
I think it's really important. Tradition doesn't die. People might kind of forget it for a little bit, but tradition is always here, and I think we want to continue that tradition. Like, Jalen's mom was an all-American track star. That hair, she was great. Her name was all over the building. Same thing with Sam Sledge and Noonan. Like, I walked down the building, I walked through the hallways, I'm like, oh wow, his name's down there. Like, there's a lot of legacy and tradition already here. We want to continue and just keep building on that. Guys that played here and they have great children, and that red is in their blood. That's what they bleed. Yeah, we here the same way. Bring it back and bring back those type of real traditions of winning championships and competing at the highest level.
Mike, Adam, Omar, appreciate your time.